Good afternoon. I'm heading to work today, and I took a walk. It was a beautiful day today. I took a walk with my son, my 6-year-old son, and by the time I got back, I thought, oh, I have a really long work day ahead of me. I need to take a nap. And I decided to put on a podcast. I was going to put on a podcast to listen to while I took a nap. I figured I was just going to fall off to sleep. Stay tuned to find out what I listened to and what the results were of that. Hello, my name is Andrea, and you are here with Real Life with Andrea. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel and you are liking the content, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button to be notified of future videos. And if you like this video, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up. So today I took a nap. It was supposed to be for 30 minutes. And I decided I was going to put on a podcast. I like to have something going. It kind of keeps me from falling into that really deep sleep, but it allows me to rest. And I thought, my brother's been talking a lot about, my sister and different people that I know have been talking a lot about this PragerU, okay? So I have not ever listened to it before. Didn't really know what to expect, but based on my family's recommendations, I knew that it was going to be something that I would agree with, from where I am in my life and the things that I value. So just put on a random podcast off of PragerU, and it was really good. So it was about, it was a young lady. The show was called Unapologetic Live, and unfortunately I wasn't really interested at the beginning. Like I said, I was going to take a nap, and I just didn't want to fill my head with junk, so I was going to put on something of value. And so I did not catch the name of the young lady who was doing the show. But the whole show was about this other YouTuber who was criticizing PragerU, and I thought it was hilarious. They did a really great job. They played the video. They stopped periodically to comment on it. But it was interesting because when we as conservatives, who I personally identify as a Christian, and I am conservative, and any of my messages, you would hear those. I hope that you would hear those two values coming out of what I say. We live in the United States of America, and it is a free country, and it's free speech. And if you don't agree with me, as I also say in my videos, please feel free to disagree with me, because that's the country that we live in. Praise the Lord. And so it's interesting how when people disagree with conservative message, they will attack it and say it needs to be shut down. What kind of a country do we live in? I don't agree with what you say, but I don't say that you should be taken off of the airways. And it was interesting because they were attacking PragerU for their views. They were calling them names that if you even watch PragerU one video, you would see that what they say is inaccurate and invalid. PragerU is a more conservative show. I'm told, like I said, I personally have only watched this one video, but they look at things from a truth perspective, which is really hard to find these days. A lot of people in social media, they get on there, they say whatever they want to say and whatever they're feeling, and when they say what I'm feeling with confidence, you believe it as truth. If I get on here and I say that I'm a professor of biology at Harvard University, which I'm not, you're going to value what I have to say more than the average person because I said that I was a professor. How does that make me more qualified to talk about, say, feelings? I don't know. In this day and age, we're finding that that having academics doesn't always benefit the conversation. Sometimes it even just muddies the water. Anyhow, I didn't get much of a nap because I just kept finding myself being drawn into this content where this other young woman just got to say whatever she wanted to say, which again, that's the free speech, and not back it up with any examples or any proof or any claims. And she treated the fact that somebody else gets to say what's on their mind as if it was a criminal act that is to the detriment of our country and needs to be shut down. But isn't that kind of one of the founding issues of our country, is that we all have the freedom to think for ourselves, to believe what we believe, to have our own religious beliefs, to whatever. It's a free country that I get to have my own thoughts and my own opinions and my own feelings. Now, hopefully all of those things are based on truth, and not on a lie, and that's where the social media conglomeration tends to get muddy, is that I can listen to all these people and someone else can get on just like me and they're sharing their feelings. And remember that these are my feelings, my thoughts, my responses to hearing something, seeing something, reading something. There's no research behind this other than my own experience. But people can get on and they talk with such clarity that then somebody else goes and starts saying the same thing and the same thing, and it becomes this ball of lies or misinformation, because we believe what the other person had to say, without engaging our own mind and our own experiences and doing our own research into what the truth is, if you can even get to the bottom of the truth. But here's what I have to say about this content. Again, PragerU, only watched one show, but based on what I've heard and based on what I heard today, it seems like it is a great format for people who have conservative beliefs, because having conservative beliefs really, in the grand scheme of things, and not to my neighbors, but in the political and social media side of it, having conservative beliefs is being attacked all the time. And they talk about how it's only white people who have conservative beliefs, and I don't think that's true. I have friends of all races, religions, colors, and all that they want is to be able to raise their children in truth, honesty, morality, and to, have the freedom to think and believe what they believe, to express that to other people, and at the same time to teach their children and themselves to respect that other people also have the right to their own opinion. And so I can share my opinion, and you can share your opinion, and we don't have to agree, and it doesn't have to end up in a fight, and it doesn't have to end up in not being able to speak on those things again. And I think that PragerU this woman, she's just getting a bad rap, because what she's saying, basically what she is saying, is that the values that are being shared there should not exist in this country. And when we start saying something like that, the values that somebody else had should not exist in this country, they're dangerous, then it becomes, what does this country stand for? So if we're talking about politically, what does this country stand for? Now, personally, I'm a pro-life person. Does that mean that I think that people who believe in pro-choice shouldn't exist? No. But it does mean that I am going to express my opinion to being pro-life. And there are some things that, the government shouldn't be involved in. And that's a whole another ball of wax and things to get into. But, the values that this country were founded on shouldn't be being erased. Because if we erase those values, if we erase all of that stuff, or if we decide that part of it's good and part of it's bad, then we're changing the entire country. It's not the same country. So whoever it is, whatever person it is that decides that whatever our country was founded on, it's no longer valid, it's no longer valuable, it's no longer the way that it should be, then who are we? Where do we go from there? And I think that's the biggest danger right now, is that we have so many voices coming at us from so many different ways, and we definitely can say, oh, everybody has a voice. Yeah, everybody has a voice. There still is right and wrong, and so I'm pretty sure that we still live in a country where murder is wrong. Where does war fall into that? Then you start to get muddy the waters. And when we muddy the waters with different things, then we muddy our thought processes, and we go, oh, well, I can kind of see that that's not really murder. Okay, well, we still put people in jail for murder. Murder is still wrong. Theft. I mean, I don't know about you, but not that long ago, there was this thing about how, I should be able to take whatever you have just because I want it. And they didn't call it theft. And I was like, what? No, that's still theft. We still believe that if you come and take something of mine that doesn't belong to you, it's still theft. So there are still some basic things that we still believe in, but that the whole mindset of wanting everything to be equal, feeling sorry for myself because I don't have what I want, or that someone else has something that I want. And if we go back to the Bible, I mean, a lot of these things that are coming up stem from not following the 10 Commandments. When we covet what somebody else has, it makes us feel bad. It makes us feel sad. We want something that we don't have. Maybe because we could never have, because quite honestly, I'm never going to have enough money to own a luxury sports car. I would really want one, but I'm never going to have the kind of money, no matter how hard I work. That is not, well, I suppose maybe I could, but I'm pretty sure if I worked that hard, I might not spend that kind of money on that car. Anyway, but if I were to go and say, hey, I want that car, and I'm just going to take it. It's not theft. I want it. Nobody is going to say that that was okay. Nobody. So, that's biblical stuff right there. If I covet, it's going to create in me a desire to have. That desire to have something that I don't have creates unhappiness. That unhappiness could potentially drive me to do something that I shouldn't do, to feel a way that I shouldn't be feeling, and even to have feelings against the person who have things that I would like to have that I don't have, of negativity. So I'll feel negative about people who have what I don't have. And that is the antithesis of being able to have joy, feel good in my circumstances, and to be at peace with all people. So I'm not sure how I got there, talking about PragerU and getting there, but I feel like it just brought up in me this whole idea about social media and how we still are at a place, mostly, where anybody can say anything they want to on social media and post it. And it can be right, wrong, or indifferent. And I don't disagree with that. I think that the people that are out there watching social media, they need to challenge themselves to be more educated about what's being said and what the truth is. And if you find something out that's interesting, or that you like, or that you heard that you're not sure about, it should compel you to find out the truth, not to just believe it because somebody says it with confidence. We do know that over the last few years that a lot of Christian and conservative commentary has been censored, and when we have censorship, that's never a good thing. Again, that goes back to freedom of speech, and that all of us should be able to share our speech. And if you believe what I'm saying, why does the government care? That's what they want, right? Why does anybody care in a free country, if you believe what I believe? Or if I challenge an idea and I have other people who agree with me, and that could be used in a positive way rather than what they see as a negative way. Anyway, it's a lot of information. I have a lot going on in my mind, and it's a little bit rumpled up and confused, because I love that we live in a country where we are still mostly free to speak our minds, as long as I do think that there's responsibility with that it isn't that we are bullying or pointing fingers at people, that we need to respect others the way we want to be respected. There certainly is an opportunity there for people to show how to share what I believe without denigrating somebody else. I share my beliefs. I might even share someone who disagrees with me. But for me to try to communicate that in a way that does not cross a line of really disrespect, anger, inappropriate, name calling, all that kind of stuff. We can disagree with people and still show kindness to them, even when people are saying the craziest of things. I mean, when people, one of the topics that I find crazy is when people are out there talking about how what was the thing today? If you believe that, I don't know, but it was about this whole idea of whiteness and how we live in a country of whiteness. And fine, okay, you can say what you want to say. I find it interesting that when we're having that conversation and people are talking about whiteness as if it's a negative thing, while building themselves up, they have to tear somebody else down in order to build up their ideas. And so when you are sharing your thoughts and your ideas, and in order to do that, you're doing the very same thing that you're talking about. So if I'm talking about a different culture and how one culture oppresses another culture, right? A culture of oppression. So that culture needs to rise up and oppress the other culture. Why? Why is one culture better than the other? What we need to do is that we need to try to not oppress other people, that we need to, again, give people the freedom to grow, to think for themselves, to have their own ideas and thoughts, etc., etc. So I find it very difficult when people who are talking about one idea that's bad, and the way that we're going to make that better is by doing the exact same thing, by rising up and oppressing those who oppress us. How is that better? I would like to live in a culture that is better than that. I would like to live in a culture that we are all equal, and not equal necessarily like a socialism type of equality where everybody has the same money and the same things and the same cars, because I think that we find value in having to work for things. I think that there's a value in a hard day's work and having a good work ethic, but equal in that you are free to have your own, to speak your mind with respect. You are free to think what you want to think and to have your own opinions, and that they should be valued. That should be valued, okay? And that we shouldn't have to worry about whether someone's getting hired because they're a woman and they need to fill women's spots, or they need to fill black spots or whatever. If you're concerned, we should live in a world where people are hired based on their qualifications. I work with people who are not qualified to do the jobs that they're doing, and they don't even want to be. And so I end up doing work for other people that work here, and they're getting paid as much as I am. And somehow that is what we are touting as equality. Equality because there's equal women, men, black, Hispanic, minority, majority, whatever, the number of people that are in the building. But there is no equality in the work ethic. There's no equality in the way that the job gets done. There's equality in pay. There's equality in the kinds of people that are here, but they don't want to work. That's not equality. When we talk about equality, what are we talking about? Because I'd like to see equal pay for equal jobs. If the job is XYZ, whoever has that job should get paid that, whether they are a woman, a man, black, Hispanic, whatever they are, Indian, Jewish, don't care. But they should get paid for doing the job. And if they don't do the job, they should get fired. But see, we're afraid to fire people too. So we get stuck with the hard workers doing the work for the ones who don't care because they know they're not going to get fired because of the equal opportunity clause. And that has created a whole nother mess. Anyway, this video has gotten way too long and there's way more things that I could go on and on about. And I am just blathering at this point, so I'm going to call it a day. Thanks for listening. If you are interested in PragerU, check them out. They are on the Daily Wire. They are on YouTube. I am going to be watching more videos and I hope to see a lot more good content. I hear that there's things that are funny and serious. There's political, non-political, all kinds of content from all different creators, all different religious backgrounds, all different ethnic backgrounds. And so I am super excited to spend more time listening to their content as I have started turning off the television and turning on more podcast style information stuff that's going to add a little bit more value to my life. And as we're coming up into this election season, lots of good content makers out there. If you are conservative, we've got Charlie Kirk, we've got Matt Walsh, we've got, I could name a bunch of different people who are out there sharing information that is trustworthy and valuable to help you navigate this political climate. All that, and so we're done for the day. Thank you very much for listening, and as always, if you disagree with me, you have that right. And I am so glad that you have joined me and that you're supporting my endeavor here, and we will see you soon.